Hey folks, welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. In today's video, we're going to deep dive into Bitcoin based on the recent price action, finding out what the likely next move is going to be, where is the support levels, where are the resistance points to pay attention to. So let's dive right into the chart with no further delay. As always, folks, remember Verified Investing and myself, purely charts, no BS. All right. If you want BS, feel free. Social media is there for everyone to lose their mind or brain cells to, or mainstream media has all the narratives you could ever want. The charts are the only thing that I've ever found that are unbiased. Okay, so when we look at this chart of Bitcoin, what do we have? We have a classic double top, right? So this was your double top right up here. And just for educational purposes, understand that double tops almost always break on the second one a little bit higher. Now, why does that happen, right? So why do you get a little bit of a break above the previous high for double tops? And again, listen, it doesn't always happen, but I'd say about 85% of the time, you're always going to breach the previous high. And the reason is very simple because you have a lot of bears that have shorted, right? So they shorted after this high in this rollover. And the idea is, where do they place their stops? What's the psychological place to place your stop? And that would be at a pierce of the high. So the algos know that. They bring it up, they pierce the high, and that causes stops to be triggered amongst shorts. And then remember, when someone covers a short, they actually have to buy back Bitcoin. And so it creates more buying. In addition, psychologically, what do we know? All right, when a previous high is taken out, what's the psychological impact to investors? And that's, oh my goodness, I'm feeling the FOMO. I've got to buy in. And that creates that last little pop above before the pullback comes into play. And so I always like to explain that because trading and investing is such a psychological game. And the more we understand why things happen, the less emotion we trade with, right? All right. So the other thing to note here is, again, this reversal candle. Anytime you have a double top with a big green, but then a bigger red to the downside, that's always a bearish reversal signal. In this case, pretty much an engulfing reversal candle in technical analysis. And it basically tells you that price has a high probability of going lower, which is exactly what it did. Now, as price came down, it came into what we would call a support shelf or support zone. Why? Well, you can see over here, going back to May 2025 all the way through June into early July, there was a lot of chop before price broke out. And what I like to do here, folks, is we're going to put in a little support zone from this high right through here, right? We're going to bring it all the way over here, and we're going to bring it down to this area right here. All right. So notice again, you have your high and you have your low, and then you kind of went up, then you broke a little bit lower, but then you came up in here, right through this area right here. Notice how this area of support now becomes, once it breaks out, it becomes, so this was resistance, right? So resistance over here, struggle, 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 breaks out, and now it becomes support. Here it hits, boom. Here it comes in, hits again, okay, bounces. Here it comes in and breaks, and it becomes a little bit of resistance, tries to get back above, rejected, goes to the low end, comes back here again, rejected, and finally breaks back above. Now, that gives us our basis for where our current support area is. So if you're a bull, this is now the zone you're following. Anything between 112,000 down to about 107,000. All right, so there's a 5,000 range. And listen, 5,000 is pretty wide, but at the same time, it's Bitcoin. So like that could be 1 or 2 days of price action. And so the idea is that when you have a zone, you expect support, in this case, support at this zone, and you really don't want to see Bitcoin break below that zone. You can buy as long as it's in that zone, but if it breaks below, you have to think about, do you exit the trade? Do you stop out? Because it's now broken the zone, okay? So going back to the chart, we don't want to see it break basically below 107. If it breaks below 107, you're likely headed down to about 100,000. This low and this area right here creates our next area of support right in this zone here. You can see this was a push up, low, low, and low right in this vicinity, right? And essentially you can put a trend line right at 100,000 basically and drag it across right there. And you can see every line kind of, you pierced it here, but essentially that shows you that support level. So we know our downside zone where we have to watch. If you're bull on Bitcoin, you don't want to see 107,000 broken. If it is broken, then you're likely headed down to 100,000. Now on the upside, this is something that in my trading game plan I've covered with you guys, right? So I said, where did I say it was going to go all week? And by the way, you might be saying, well, what the heck is Gareth's my trading game plan? It's my daily live show on the Verified Investing YouTube. So right now you guys are watching this on my Gareth Soloway YouTube, but there's a daily show that I do 9 a.m. Eastern time every day live, Monday through Friday, not on the weekends. I take a little break, although I do these videos on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on the Verified Investing YouTube, and that is live. And in those shows all week long, I've been saying, guys, 117,000 is going to be resistance as we break above. And there was this little inverse head and shoulders. If we go back here, and again, this is on the daily. It looks a lot better on the hourly, but you can see shoulder, head, so shoulder, head, and shoulder. And inverse head and shoulders are bullish patterns. Head and shoulders are bearish. Inverse, meaning upside down, head and shoulders are bullish. Now, again, for those of you that may be new, I can put this in. In fact, let's bring this to, I always like to do the teaching on this. So let's go to our hourly chart, and we go back over here, and I'll draw it in. So here's your shoulder, upside down head, right? Upside down shoulder. And then where did we break out? Right here. This is what's called the neckline in technical analysis. And that's where it triggers. Okay. So essentially the formation can be there, but until you break above the neckline, which basically connects the armpit to armpit, it's kind of, you know, as it sounds, it's the neckline. It doesn't really trigger. Once it does, then you get the upside. And we've seen that, right? We've seen a beautiful move up. And again, if we flip back and let's go back to the daily chart now. Okay, so that was that pattern. And again, now we're back on the daily, and this is where it was right there. So maybe you can see it a little bit better. So once it breaks out, we knew that this area right here was going to be our next resistance. And so the beauty of this, I mean, this is just still, even to this day, it just rocks my world how cool technical analysis is. But the reason why in the My Trading Game Plan show, I said 117,000 was going to be resistance was because on the chart, I could see this ahead of time. Look at how you got up here, and then this area just became like incredible support. It broke here, came back, and then broke back above, became support. Look at how it acted right there again. Pause, broke down, and then look, you came back up and it got rejected. And this really just proves its power again and again. Even though occasionally you're getting through the line, it always afterwards reestablishes itself. And that's unbelievably important on the charts, right? And so here it reestablished itself. So we have to assume until proven otherwise that it's reestablished it here. And sure enough, look at what we hit, 117,000. And now it's paused for the last couple days. Now, what I'm watching here as a technician of the charts is, number one, I knew it was going to be resistance, right? So 117 was going to be resistance. But the beauty of technical analysis is that just because something's resistance, it can eventually break above that resistance. And the trick is, or the educational nugget of wisdom is to watch how price acts after you hit the line. If you get a huge reversal, that's not good. That is not good. That tells you that there's massive sellers there, and essentially the sellers are outnumbering the buyers by a massive margin. If you get a small check back and it doesn't really pull back much, what does that create in technical analysis? It creates a bull flag. All right, so right now, and listen, 2 candles of sideways consolidation don't make a bull flag. Let's be fair. I at least like to see like 3 to 5 at minimum. But if we were to stay like this, right? If we were to let's just draw this in. So if we were to just go like this for a couple more days, then all of a sudden this pattern, what type of pattern is this? It's a bull flag. What do we think? Well, then if you form that, it starts to favor a breakout above the resistance line. Okay, so right now, again, please understand, I don't want anyone jumping to crazy conclusions. As a technician, I'm respecting the action, but I'm not, again, the chart has to form it before I jump to the conclusion. So again, this is a good start for bulls to see very mild pullback because it could be forming a bull flag, but it hasn't formed it fully yet. It's not a mature bull flag. If it does, favor the upside. Now, if let's say we come into the next couple days and price all of a sudden collapses down to here, yes, this is support, but that's not good. It's not a bull flag, and that wouldn't give me confidence on the pattern formation, at least in the near term. All right, so these are little tidbits that we're really watching. And so listen, I do an update on Bitcoin, pretty much every day for members in my or for followers of subscribers on in my trading game plan on the Verified Investing YouTube. But then these individual videos are where I deep dive into the chart on my YouTube, and we really get into the nitty gritty about this educational stuff, right, guys? And again, this is really like, if you want to be someone who ignores the hype, the fear, the FUD, the FOMO, whatever you want to call it, and just looks at the pure probability, these videos where I deep dive are really good. Like, this is information that the top traders that use technical analysis, they're the ones that are, I mean, we're talking not like the top 20%, we're talking like the top 0.1% know this stuff. And again, I share it with you. And by the way, I want to say this, the comments that some of you guys make on the videos are like literally, I teared up the other day reading some of them. And I did that because they were so appreciative, and it just drives me to do even more and teach more, guys. And I'm dead serious on that. Like, it means a lot to me that people aren't just like, oh, Gareth, keep giving me information, and like, I don't want to feel like I'm being used. But when you guys show real appreciation, I can't tell you, it just warmed my heart amazingly, and it just drives me to do even more in depth and teach even more through these videos. And so, yeah, so thank you, guys. Thank you for the kind words. And like I say, guys, we all have friends and family that probably are trying to learn how to invest. My only ask from you guys is that you send them the link to the video and have them just learn a little bit. Because number one, the more views I get, the more I can branch out and spread the word here. And the better it does for me, and then also for you, for your friends and family. Like, in reality, if it's making a difference in your life, think about what it could do to other people or help other people. So in any case, I don't want to get too crazy, but just going back to the chart real quick, guys, we're going to watch this pattern. If it breaks above after a bull flag forms, then essentially I would be in the position to think that we retest our all-time highs, maybe even go higher than that. One thing that I'll be watching is that former bull flag, this trend line. So this trend line, if we really did break up here, I actually think we'd go higher than our all-time high, and you'd go back to this line right here. And again, let me change the color on that so it really stands out. So low pivot, low pivot, low pivot. We break down, we retrace to that line. You can see the retrace to the yellow line, right? It was also this orange line, which was great, but it also kissed the yellow line. If we break above this orange line, you probably go up here, and we probably get to about 125, 126, depending on where it hits along the ascending trend line. That's going to be the level. But yeah, I think that's very interesting. The other thing that's kind of cool too is, look at this. If we just connect the high to the high, look, boom. And so that's cool, right? Because now you have two trend lines that are converging, that if you can break above here, that signals you're going to move up to that level. And again, you might say, oh, well, it's going a lot higher because, this person said, this influencer, that's fine. I'm not disputing where Bitcoin could be in a year from now or 3 months from now. I'm giving you literally the next key to the castle, meaning that in the next X amount of days, if we break above this, then we go back to our all-time highs and make a new all-time high. But then you'd expect a pullback off that level. Very cool stuff. All right, guys, go enjoy your weekend. I'm going to go watch a little bit of football here and enjoy. Thank you guys again for the likes, the comments, spreading the word, giving your friends and family a link to the video. Means the world to me. Thank you so much. Take care.